both. You know, there is still art that's genuinely well done that succeeds in this environment. I want to give some examples of like movies that could be considered woke, or TV shows that could be considered woke, that I actually think are pretty good and well done. And I'd be curious, I'd have to look into it to see what the motivations of the writers and what they were saying. But like, I think of the show Euphoria. Very woke, like, you know, you got the transgender character, you got all the different, it's just about sex, drugs, and diversity, whatever. But the writing is really well done. It's really complex. I remember there's one scene in the show where it's a completely degenerate show, by the way. If I have any good Christian conservative families watching, don't take my recommendation to watch this.
Don't worry, this show comes highly recommended from Fuentes' camp, apparently.
Yeah. But there's like this scene where there's like this like messy sexual encounter, and the girl feels like it's like been borderline like rape scene, and then they do this cut where they talk about how the guy didn't even know what he was doing was crossing a line, because he had watched so much messed up porn in his life that told him, you know, choking girls is what they want, that's what they're into. And I've like never seen a show that would be considered like woke media try to rationalize a man being super aggressive in a sexual scenario. Yet Euphoria did that. I was like, wow, that's a more complex analysis of the world than the woke virtue signaling that we're talking about that just gets plastered on some shows where it's like, let's throw a black person in there, let's make the woman a Mary Sue or whatever. So there are shows that can have woke themes that look at them with more complex lenses. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I know you really like that movie, Steven. That was really good. They had Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you guys haven't seen it, it's fantastic. They've got like a 50-year-old Asian mom who works at a laundromat who becomes a kung fu star, and her daughter's a lesbian, and somehow they ensured that the plot wasn't really about the fact that she was a woman. They ensured the plot wasn't about the fact that her daughter was a lesbian. It was about these deeper themes of family relation, and it just so happened that there were a lesbian couple in it. Just so happened that the hero was a mom, and it wasn't like the focus of the film. Or maybe you'd be able to find, I don't know, I'd have to see like what the writers were saying about it, but I haven't seen anything that was like, this film was made for the sole purpose of like normalizing LGBTQIA people in movies or something like that. Yeah.
I guess I think there are movies that can be made shitty for that can be made shitty for good reasons or bad reasons, or they can end up good or bad. Like the Rambo movies, well, not Rambo 1 maybe, but like Rambo 2 and onwards are like pretty big, like go America, like fucking kill everybody and everything, and it's just like a hyper nationalistic, but they're fun movies, you can enjoy them. But like I wouldn't criticize those movies and say like, wow, these are like really pro-America, because like sure, like you would just evaluate the film itself. No, that's
sometimes if a message is so over the top, then yeah, you would criticize it if it's too ham-fisted. I've heard that all the time. Like even before, no matter what the message is, like if a message is like so obvious that it's not interesting, it's not interwoven in the story, then yeah, you would criticize that.
Like that Marvel New Warriors. Naming their characters.
Sure, that's okay. This is an extraordinary example, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like an actual Marvel show, though. They like, you know, or they put a lot of effort into this. This isn't like some obscure YouTube channel. This is on the official Marvel Entertainment channel with millions of views, talking about characters named Snowflake and Safe Space that are they, them, and non-binary, and are bringing, grandma cookies and Nobel Peace Prizes while volunteering at the old folks' home. The most uninteresting characters ever written, and that's a phenomenon that is happening. I don't know if it's going to die out because it's showing to be wildly unpopular, but it is real. It's not made up, and it's not just like picking fringe examples from Twitter.
Well, I'm saying that is the most like hardcore example where they literally have a character named Safe Space and Snowflake, right?
I'm using it to show that this isn't just, it's not just a conservative boogeyman that's been made up, right?
Well, no, I'm not.
It's very obvious to be pointed out in some cases.
Sure. So this is the feeling that I have. It feels like you will point to something like that we all agree is a little bit cringe on the outside. Maybe it was written well, though. I haven't watched it, so it's hard for me to say. But then you'll take that and you'll go, that's why the new Lord of the Rings is bad, even though we haven't even seen it.
No, we're saying that because the creators and the people who are watching it are saying the same things. They're saying, we made this show deliberately kind of separate from what Tolkien, the time he wrote it to be in, or making it to apply to today's standards and our values.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily know if that's bad yet.
The people who have watched it coming out and saying their favorite parts of it are the diversity. We don't know yet, but the hints people are being given from both the creators and the people reviewing it are that it is leaning towards this ludicrous.
We don't need, but we don't know if it's ludicrous
woke
because
world.
it might do it all really well.
No, you just admitted that New Warriors is ludicrous, so I'm saying.
No, hold on. I didn't even say that. I said it sounds ludicrous because I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, all right.
But I'm saying like we don't like. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, from the outset for the Lord of the Rings show, like when Bezos was talking about acquiring the rights, he was like, "We're gonna make this into the next Lord of the Rings." Like he wanted a modern, like, which is ridiculous because Lord of the Rings is kind of Game of Thrones is kind of a response to Lord of the Rings. So he is that is the goal of the show, which is to change up the lore in order to make it fit modern standards. Like everybody is telling you that at every stage of this production. Who they're bringing as their target demographic for their little goofy fan video is telling like what they're reacting to in terms of the series.
Yeah,
so
okay,
it's like
okay, so let's get more specific.